The bar sat at the edge of the highway like a scar that never healed, neon sign buzzing, paint peeling, doors swinging open to anyone with money or trouble. Engines growled outside as the sun slipped down, and the place filled with the smell of oil, sweat, and cheap whiskey. It was the kind of bar where stories stuck to the walls and never left, where laughter could turn sharp in a heartbeat. She had been working there since noon. By the time evening rolled in, her feet ached and her smile felt glued on. Her name was Lily, though most people never bothered to ask. To them, she was just the waitress with the quiet eyes who moved fast and spoke softly. She wore long sleeves even when the bar grew hot, even when the men laughed and wiped sweat from their necks. No one questioned it. In a place like that, people learned not to ask. A group of bikers thundered in just after sunset, leather vests creaking, boots heavy against the floor. Their presence shifted the room, like a storm cloud drifting overhead. Conversations dipped, then resumed louder, as if daring the newcomers to react. The lead biker, a broad-shouldered man with a jagged scar near his jaw, scanned the bar with a slow, assessing look. His eyes stopped on Lily as she moved behind the counter, stacking glasses. She felt the weight of his gaze before she saw him. It always happened like that. She straightened, smoothed her apron, and walked over to take their order. Her voice stayed steady as she spoke, but her hands trembled just enough that she kept them close to her body. "What'll it be?" she asked. The biker smirked, leaning back in his chair. "Whatever's strongest. And bring it quick." She nodded and turned away. As she poured drinks, laughter broke out behind her, loud and rough. Someone made a comment she pretended not to hear. She'd learned the art of not hearing. It was how she survived long shifts and longer nights. When she returned with the drinks, one of the bikers blocked her path with his boot. She stopped short, eyes flicking up. The man with the scar tilted his head, watching her closely now. "Careful," he said, his voice low. "Wouldn't want you spilling that." "I'm careful," she replied, keeping her tone polite. She stepped around the boot, setting the glasses down. As she did, her sleeve rode up just a little, exposing a patch of skin near her wrist. Dark marks bloomed there, half hidden, like shadows underwater. The biker's eyes narrowed. He didn't say anything, but something shifted behind them. Lily noticed and pulled her sleeve back down quickly, heart pounding. The night pressed on. Music blared from the jukebox, glasses clinked, money changed hands. Lily moved from table to table, her world narrowed to orders and steps and counting seconds until her shift ended. She avoided the bikers' table as much as she could, but it was impossible to stay away completely. When she brought another round, the man with the scar reached out and grabbed her wrist. Not hard, but enough to stop her. The room didn't go silent, but a few heads turned. "Hey," she said softly. "Please don't." His fingers tightened slightly, then loosened. He looked down at her arm again, at the sleeve he'd pulled just enough to see skin beneath. His jaw clenched. "What's under there?" he asked. "Nothing," she replied too quickly. One of his friends laughed. "Relax, man. She's just shy." The biker released her wrist. "Go," he said, and she didn't need to be told twice. Behind the bar, her hands shook as she wiped the counter. She could feel eyes on her, not just from the bikers now, but from others who'd noticed the exchange. She kept her head down, willing the night to end. It didn't. Later, as the bar grew louder and the air thicker with smoke and tension, a drunken patron at the far end started shouting. He stumbled into Lily as she passed, sloshing his drink across the floor. "Watch it," he snarled. "I'm sorry," she said automatically, bending to clean the spill. He laughed, a harsh, ugly sound. "Sorry ain't enough." Before she could move, his hand shot out and grabbed the front of her shirt. The fabric tore with a sharp sound that cut through the noise like a whip crack. For a heartbeat, the world froze. Lily gasped, stumbling back. She clutched at the torn fabric, eyes wide with shock and fear. The bar fell into a stunned silence, every head turning toward them. What they saw beneath the ripped shirt wasn't skin meant to shock or entice. It was a network of old bruises and scars, some faded, some angry and new, crisscrossing her shoulder and collarbone. Marks that told a story no one wanted to hear but everyone suddenly understood. A glass shattered somewhere. Someone cursed under their breath. The biker with the scar was on his feet before anyone else moved. His chair scraped back violently as he crossed the room in long strides. He grabbed the drunk man by the collar and slammed him against the wall, lifting him clear off the floor. "What did you do?" he growled. The drunk sobered fast, stammering, I didn't. "You don't touch her," the biker snapped, his voice shaking with barely contained fury. Lily stood frozen, hands shaking, tears blurring her vision. She felt exposed, not just physically, but in a way that went deeper. The secret she'd worked so hard to hide was suddenly out in the open, written on her skin for everyone to see. The bartender rushed over, grabbing a clean towel and wrapping it around Lily's shoulders. "It's okay," he said gently. "You're okay." She wasn't sure that was true. The biker shoved the drunk man toward the door. "Get out," he said. "Before you get hurt." The man didn't argue. He stumbled away, disappearing into the night. The bar remained silent, an uneasy stillness hanging in the air. Lily sank onto a stool behind the counter, her legs barely holding her up. She stared at the floor, breathing shallowly. The biker approached her slowly now, his anger replaced with something heavier. He stopped a few feet away, giving her space. "Those marks," he said quietly. "Someone's hurting you." She shook her head. "Please," she whispered. "I don't want trouble." He frowned. "Trouble already found you." Around them, the other bikers stood, their usual bravado gone. Even the regulars looked uncomfortable, confronted with a reality they'd ignored for too long. Lily hugged the towel tighter around herself. "I just need to finish my shift." The bartender shook his head. "No, you're done for tonight." She looked up at him, startled. "But I need the money." "I'll cover it," he said firmly. "Go home." Home. The word twisted in her chest. The biker watched her carefully. "Is it safe for you to go there?" She didn't answer. That was answer enough. The room buzzed with low murmurs as people processed what they'd seen. The biker turned to his crew, murmuring something Lily couldn't hear. They nodded, faces grim. "Listen," he said to her, kneeling so he was at eye level. "You don't owe me anything. But you don't have to go back to that either." Tears spilled over now, unstoppable. "You don't understand." "Maybe not," he admitted. "But I know what it looks like when someone's trapped." She laughed weakly. "Do you?" He hesitated, then pulled back the collar of his vest just enough to reveal his own scars, white and jagged. "Yeah," he said softly. "I do." The silence between them stretched, heavy but different now. Not threatening. Something else. Outside, engines revved, impatient. Inside, the bar seemed smaller, like the walls had leaned in to listen. Lily took a shaky breath. For the first time in a long while, someone was looking at her not as a server, not as background noise, but as a person in pain. "I don't know what to do," she whispered. The biker nodded slowly. "Then let us help you figure it out." The night had started like any other, loud and careless. Now it hung on the edge of something irreversible. Lily didn't know what would happen next. She only knew that once the truth was seen, it couldn't be unseen, and the world she'd been surviving in was already beginning to crack. The bar doors swung open again, letting in a rush of cool air. Somewhere down the highway, sirens wailed faintly. Lily clutched the towel tighter and looked up, standing at a crossroads she'd never planned to face. And the men who had walked in looking for nothing more than a drink now stood ready to make sure she never faced it alone.